Bah. Okay. Full screen that, I guess. Full screen. I don't know. Full screen mode. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hello, internet. Uh, so I was trying to sleep, and I was having some pretty bad anxiety attacks, and now I'm going to talk to you about just what's on my mind because that's what's happening. So, I mean, there are the staple things to say. I've been gone and should have been making videos and blah blah blah. But it's so cliche to hear anybody say that. It's cliche to hear people say that it's cliche. Um, yeah, I don't know. How are you? Since we last talked, when did I last make a video? Um, Yeah, I was trying to give up smoking. I have given up smoking, at least so far, which is good. I was also going to try and get my life together. I don't know if I've done a good job of the rest of that, but you know what? If the one improvement that I've made over the past few months is not being a smoker, that's a good thing. Um, so I made a big decision. I should also explain. This is I have a lamp here that I turned it on to record with, and the light, the bulb is dead. So that's ominous. So now I've got a maximized white monitor screen to give us some mood lighting for this conversation. Um, it's been it's been weird. This is going to be, by the way, just one of those. This is going to be a very long. Well, I suppose you can tell how long it is by. You will know better than I do right now. At any rate, it's going to be very rambling. It's going to be very in a weird direction type of video. But I need to get stuff off my chest, and I don't have people that I can talk to really about this, and I don't have. So I said this there's some secret thing I need to get off my chest. There's not. All right. So yeah, I was lying in bed because I have decided that it is time for me to move. Um, those of you who've watched these videos for a long time, I've only ever recorded stuff here in New York. Well, I mean, I've occasionally when I've traveled and stuff, I've recorded elsewhere. But I started recording stuff when I was in this very apartment. I've been in this apartment for about 5 years now, which is a long, man. It is a very long time, and over the course of that time, I've made a couple of friends. I I've met some people who I would be uncomfortable saying weren't my friends, but people that I don't that I'm not in regular contact with. The people that I even work mostly remotely just because I don't deal well with like open office environments. It's very hard to focus on coding stuff, but the people that I interact with the most are people on the internet, whether that's work when I work from home and talk with people on the webcam or over chat or whatever, or people that the internet friends, and I guess I sort of decided, and I've always every year the lease renewal comes up, and you sit there and they give you like a some sort of increase. Usually it's like $50 to $100 of additional rent because it's New York, and the rent price is just that's what happens. And you sit there and you look at the paper and you have to decide: is it worth it to me? is the pain of an additional this amount per month worth me moving out? It's I mean, I guess it's kind of weird. Like I mean, I'm sure that I'm sure this was true when I lived elsewhere, but it never really felt that way. That like every year you're like, does it hurt enough now to leave? Um, but it is kind of the thing with New York is that every year you are kind of you have to make an active decision of like, do I still want to accept this pretty egregious price tag? And I've this apartment, this very small studio apartment, is very, very expensive and not necessarily worth what I'm paying for it. But I decided that this year, all right, this is a time when I could force myself to move. I was close to not staying in New York a couple last year or the year before, and I thought, oh, even if I stick around, maybe I can find a cheaper place. And then it just got to the point where it's like, I don't want to deal with the moving and the. But this year I said, you know what? It's been 5 years, and I have not made. I don't have like a social group. I don't have. The people that I saw most frequently were the people who sold me cigarettes. Like, they recognized me, which is a really sad and pathetic thing to say. So on the one hand, I'm very glad that I don't see those people anymore. I just don't go into that place. It was a 7-Eleven. Like, they have other things, but I'm just like, I'm just not gonna. Not gonna not gonna risk it. This is one of the reasons why I find it really hard to make videos, and I'm just going to try and be as transparent as possible, because I guess that's what we're doing today. There's a certain level of forthrightness that I think is kind of unwelcome. I don't know, unwelcome, but it's just sort of weird or makes people uncomfortable on the internet, and that's fine. I understand it, but like, you don't share, your miserable thoughts on Facebook. You don't share. We try and mitigate. There's the self-righteous and there's the happy, and then the rest of it. Generally, we try and soft pedal it, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's fine, but there's just this sort of attitude where if you're not, you are, as a person on the internet, you're sort of responsible for knowing your own toxicity level, I guess. And then being the polite thing to do is, if you are in a toxic place, to prevent yourself from infecting other people. So if you basically that's it. That if you are, if you have the emotional flu, you don't go outside and intermingle with other people. And it seems that more and more often, I find myself going, I really want to make a video, or at the very least, I want to have made a video, because it has been way too long since I've made anything, and I want to have something to say, and I want to put something out there, but I feel like, nope, I can't, because I've got emotional flu. I don't want to infect other people. And even then, it starts to grow into this point where you go, all right, I'm in a good place. I'd like to make something. I don't have any ideas as far as what to make. And why? Well, the reason is that because I haven't been making stuff. That feeling of just complete and utter block, like, oh, nope, I've got absolutely nothing. That's just a learned behavior, because you've been going this time without making stuff. And I see this with other people too, who've kind of veered off, and then they come back, and, occasionally I'll come back and I'll do a sequence of videos and I'm excited. And then I go, wow, okay, I've done the 6 video ideas that I've come up with over the past 6 months. So I guess I'll hold off then. I guess we're done. Now I've got no ideas. So clearly that's not what the problem is. The problem is that you need to develop a pattern, and the internet's becoming such a weird place now. And YouTube kind of especially. YouTube has a bit more attention now that everybody's kind of moving toward trying to monetize that platform, just because display advertising is starting to let people down, and that's a whole other thing. But it is becoming this, monetized platform that has more and more strict social rules, and the same is true with everything. I mean, we're we're consolidating to these are the few ways that we interact with each other. These are the few platforms on which we connect, and these are the, unspoken rules that we abide by. I don't remember exactly where I was going with that, but it is right. The problem, though, is that when we have this a sort of efficient market of internet, it ruins, or at least it makes it very difficult to experiment. When the best thing that you can do if you want to be very good at making videos, is to make a lot of videos and get feedback on those videos and improve those videos and evaluate those videos. So try something, judge how well it did what you wanted it to do, and then try again. It's like a very simple feedback loop. You just do that over and over and over. But man, socially, it is really, really hard. And I do think it is more so now than it ever has been. It's really hard to go, hey, I'm going to put something that I know is crappy and is a learning experiment out there for everybody to see. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of people that, if they fall off of the wagon of putting up blog posts or making videos or doing whatever it is that they do, it's very hard for them to come back, is because they started to build up this accountability chain in the things that they're making. And, they have an audience that expects a certain quality of work, or at least in their heads. The audience is probably a lot more forgiving. But, you build up this sort of expectation of this is what my audience expects. And you get to that very weird place and you stop for whatever reason. Maybe you have a very legitimate reason. Maybe you have to stop because there's some family emergency, or maybe you have to stop because you're trying to finish a degree, or, whatever. You step away and you come back and you go, oh shoot, how does this go again? Well, you know what? I don't remember, and I'm going to need to have some run up practice time again. But now the stakes for things that are not your best work are so much higher, and it's weird. But anyway, this is off topic. The reason, this whole video's, what is the topic anyway? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we're just going to chat all night, right? I mean, it's 3 a.m. over here? I don't know when you're watching this, but it's 3 a.m. over here. So I decided I was going to move. And yeah, this is how I got here. I've not done a good job of learning to be a New York person. I can observe that plenty of New York people are happy to go out and go clubbing and drinking and standing in lines and hanging out with their other friends. And it's always felt like a little too much effort for me. That you have to schedule all of your recreation, and just everything seems so intense so much of the time. Everything's noisy and busy, and it keeps me it's one of the reasons that I stay in my apartment way too much. But I moved here when I was 22, and now I'm 27, and I don't know what I was supposed to do, but I've just gotten older. I have a good job. I'm good at my job, so that's good. But I haven't made. You expect that you move to a place and you eventually get a hang of the area, and I know my way around. I can walk around. I know where stuff is. I go on walks and stuff. But I don't have, I don't know. I have failed to ingratiate myself with the community. I am a failed New Yorker, and in a weird, it's something I think maybe particular about New York is that there is sort of, it really does feel like, wow, I am a failure. It's weird. Like, this is an incredibly standoffish city, and I can't even cut that. So anyway, I've decided that I'm going to move, and I have been approved for an apartment back in the middle of Wisconsin, which is going to be weird. I'm moving back to where I went to college, and I have to mail my signed lease. I need to do that tomorrow. I'm scared to, because I was trying to sleep tonight and I was looking around and I was going, this entire apartment, this has been my 20s, right? I mean, it's all psychological BS, right? Not that the psychology is BS, but that our brains tell stories that are BS. But I look around and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where that corner back there, that's where I recorded so many videos. And I had, the lighting kits, and I had the lighting kits. I don't even have those lights anymore. I don't even have the same camera anymore. But I just sort of look around and go, yeah, I have lived in this very small area for a long time. And so I decided that I was going to move back because I know the area, and I know a lot of the people. It's a small enough area that I know the people. Some I don't know, and things have changed obviously, but I know enough of the people, and I have people that I consider friends in that area. I know I can chat with and hang out with, and there's something very different about the Midwest as well, in that there's the Midwestern nice, is the term that I've seen sort of bandied about, but there is also just the sort of attitude that, let's just be pleasant, because and it's not and it's not that people in the Midwest are happier, because I honestly think that they're not. I think, though, that generally speaking, and this is just kind of my own impression, that generally speaking, there is more compassion and more of an understanding of, sometimes we're all having bad days, so let's just be pleasant to each other and try and not make it worse. And I remember before I moved away that I had this sort of disdain toward that attitude, because I am the type of person that walks around quickly and is serious, and there's a part of me that's like, these Midwestern nice people. And I was excited to come to New York, where everybody's serious and busy, and I started to realize I would rather be the I'd rather be the obnoxious person in a group of nice people than the reverse. I don't want to be the polite person in a particular situation, which isn't to say that, obviously this is all playing up to various stereotypes, which definitionally can't represent all of the people. And but anyway, I was sitting there and there's something really. I was Googling around, because I was like, this can't be just a me thing. And I was Googling around. I was like, panic attacks plus moving, anxiety plus moving house. Trying to find the right Google search term to find other people who relate to my experience. And the frustrating things that everybody was, all of the stuff that I found was, scared to move out of my parents' house and I'm 35, or things like that. And it's like, well, that doesn't, nope, that's not really me. I've been very, very isolated for a very long time. Like, that's not what scares me. I guess I'm worried that I came out here and I spent, the main part of my 20s in New York, which is supposed to be, I don't know, people come to big cities to find something. I don't know exactly what it was that I was looking for. I don't know that I was looking for anything, but I think I can say pretty definitively I haven't found it. The decision that, yeah, I need to move and I need to move to the Midwest is I need to do this for my own mental health. I need to be in an area where it's like, oh yeah, I can, walk around and be like, I'm just going to go sit in that coffee shop, or I'm just going to go and do a community theater thing. Or or whatever. But it's the fear that I've moved. I moved out here and I spent a whole bunch of my life here, and I haven't, whatever it is that you're supposed to get from being here, I missed it. I've always, I don't know if any of you feel this way. Maybe you're all bad boys and bad girls or whatever. It's going to sound really bad. This is just me rambling, so please don't take this with any. But I always feel like I was supposed to have some big, like, rock bottom drug experience. like, that's what's supposed to happen in college or something. And then you recover from that and you go like, all right, well, I had my sex, drugs, rock and roll phase, and now I'm gonna, I've learned my lessons. I'm gonna move on, sadder but wiser for the experience. And I look at my life, I'm like, well, nope. I've just had this life of trying really hard to do what I think I should do, failing a lot of the time, but trying. And I feel like I probably missed something important along the way. I haven't done the casual dating thing. Didn't do the drug scene. Didn't do the rock and roll scene either. And actually, that's another thing. It's just this past week. So I was in the Midwest looking at apartments, getting stuff set up, and I got back and I discovered that these two fingers are numb. And there's this nerve called, I think it's pronounced the ulnar nerve. It goes down this side of your arm, and it controls these two fingers. And if I had to describe it, it's like something's wrong with it. But it is like it's like someone shot him up with Novocaine and like it's half worn off. Which, I play the piano and I type at a keyboard. Those are kind of the two things that I do. So the idea of not being able to do that ever again is pretty terrifying. It's just all happening at the same time, I'm sure that I'm overreacting on the finger stuff. I'm sure that if I give it another week or two, things will be a little bit better. And then, I've got to, whatever I was doing wrong, I've got to make sure to be a little bit, more careful. Don't abuse the arms. Don't lean over weirdly, or, whatever it is that I was doing. Try to be more ergonomic. But man, searching around going like, hey, how do I fix this? Or does this recover? Or does this go away? Does this get better? Results were not super encouraging. And so I started trying to just think about, well, what is my life like if I just can't experience music again? That's hyperbole, but for me, that is the way that I experience music. It's through the tactile sensation of playing the keys. If I it's like listening to music is great. I'm sure that for a lot of people, dancing to music is how they truly experience it. Singing to music is great as well. In my perfect world, I'm both playing and singing stuff because I have to feel it, and the idea that wow, I could just be. That could just be like a chapter in my life that is also done now. I'm so scared and threatened needlessly by change. And the idea that, I mean, I have to decide that I need to no longer be in New York, that I need to go to a place that is healthier and friendlier and more sympathetic, a place where I can, focus on getting healthier, going for walks, not ordering delivery food all of the time, trying to become a better person. I do want to make videos again. I want to have the ideas, and I want to find a way to overcome that friction, because, man, it's a dumb thing. There are probably, well, I don't know by now because it's been a while since I've been talking. There may be one of you who's this is the first thing of mine that you've ever seen, and that's weird. I'm sorry. This is not representative, although now it probably is. I don't know. But you look at there's this number, and as much as you don't look at the numbers, there's this number of these are the people who have some sense of what you're capable of. That's what it is, right? It's not some negative like, oh, these are the people I have to impress or anything. It's just these are the people that know that I'm capable of some stuff that I've done in the past, and making stuff that isn't up to that becomes a little bit more hard when you know that there are potentially people who can see it. And that's the challenging part about being mediocrely successful, I guess. I've to some extent I've been able to still make some stuff. If I have a gaming channel where I've been putting up Kerbal Space Programming videos and stuff, and I put those on a schedule for the most part, so those tend to get up. And I was doing a podcast with Alex Bragdon. We're on hiatus, but that's still going on. And I don't know if I even told Alex this, but at the time, the podcast thing was less than, it was like, I want to make a podcast, and more of like, I need to force myself to talk to a person socially for 1 hour a week. I wonder if I can trick Alex into doing that under the guise of a podcast and see if that works. And yeah, I mean, I think the podcast turns out pretty good as well, but that's, this is not representative of my attitude most of the time. But I don't see this side of people. I think part of this is just because I interact with people mostly on the internet, but there are times like now where I just feel anxious and scared and pathetic. I feel like as much as I can look down and spot flaws in other people, they've got to be doing something right? Because they don't look like how I feel. And I don't think that's fair. I think we all feel like this certainly more than we admit to other people. But I think it's hard because so much of the way that we interact is different now. And I wonder just how that's, I don't know. I don't want to be one of those just, oh, the internet is terrible, negative, blah, blah, blah type of people. I think that there are problems that we need to work out, particularly with just figuring out attention and, control and stuff with the internet. But I don't know. I want to know how we can. I mean, so there's this whole thing with the internet and your internet persona. And that is that if you look at the content that shares, the content that spreads, that is, angry, self-righteous stuff, and it's happy stuff. It's adorable stuff, and the negative stuff does not tend to spread as well, unless it's negative stuff that we can all rally around. How dare these people do whatever they think? And so there's a disconnect between the natural feelings that we want to express and the feelings that do well. And I think when we have a system, a social system, social networking systems that reward certain types of expression more than others, even in the most subtle way. Like I'm not trying to suggest that anybody's trying to manipulate us into sharing certain types of content. They might be, but I'm not. Even if that's not the case, just the fact that you're going to get more of a response to certain types of shared thoughts than to others is slowly going to train you to share more of those thoughts and to filter the rest. And this is like a natural thing that happens. And the only real difference between, talking in person pre-internet and now this kind of big social media thing is that it's amplified. That if you said something really, really clever amongst your group of friends, all four of your friends would have laughed and, well, that was funny. Now, if you think of something really clever, it gets tweeted about and you get like 1 million retweets and super famous and on Ellen and whatever. Whereas the penalties for sharing things that don't resonate well, one friend just sort of shrugs it off and you go like, all right, well, one person didn't respond well to what I said. Whereas, people can really bomb on social media. It doesn't go over well. So I wonder how exactly we can find a way to be both authentic and distributed. So I like my internet friends. Hopefully we're internet friends, and I like that we have an internet relationship for whatever that's worth. But I feel we have this sort of distorted. We're subtly encouraged to present distorted views that can easily make us sort of spiral out of control. And so, yeah, this video does not follow any of those rules that it is supposed to. It is long, though, I think. Yes, it's long, which should make YouTube's algorithm happy, I guess. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing to live a happier life. And I'm scared because I'm forcing myself to close chapters because I think that that's something that I should be doing. I think that's going to help me find the direction that I want to be going in. But it's also an admission, in some sense, that I have wasted some time not doing what I could have been. So we'll have to see. I am hoping to make some more stuff, though. I'm going to be traveling like crazy the next 2 months. I don't know. Maybe I'll try. Yeah, well, travel. Yeah, I'll try and do some recording and chat. The new apartment's going to be great. It's really, really, really big because I can afford to spend a lot because I'm leaving New York, and so I was like, oh, this is half of the price and enormous. That sounds great. So I'm excited about the new place. I think there's some I can have a room that is just like I want to have this room just be for recording videos, which is insane. And awesome. So I'm excited about that. That'll be fun. But, oh man, there's so much of my life that I've lived in here, which is a sad thing to have to admit to myself. Sad realization to come to. I don't want this. I don't want to end this on a negative. Why did I say that? I shouldn't have. I have no idea if anybody's going to listen to this. I really don't. I was just lying there and I was hyperventilating. I don't really know why. But yeah, life is strange, but you know what? You get to that point where you just play back like the last thing that you said over and over, and you try and figure, what was I even trying to? Like, I just said it. I should know what I was trying to say when I said it, but now I'm just listening. It's the observer. It was very rare. I remember there were a couple of times, like on family vacations, where we'd be up, like me and my siblings would be up super late, like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I don't know exactly, but in our own rooms, and it would be like this. Would just chat quietly, try not to wake up mom and dad. Just having, I don't know, like sleepover chats. Those were cool. Sometimes we were vulnerable. So, thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you. That sounded way too sappy. I'm gonna try and sleep now.